Unlike most of our bike of the day features, this one is not for sale, but it is so cool that I could not help but share it with you, seeing as it's at our shop temporarily. This, at first glance, would look to most people like a Ducati 900 SS, especially because of this black and gold paint job, which that model was famous for. But with a close eye, you might be able to tell that it is actually a 750 GT that has been heavily customized with lots of interesting details, and I just want to highlight a few of those for you. A little bit of history about this bike. It was built over a few years by Mike and Candie Hurley of a company called Italian Iron, and according to their website, Mike says that it came to him as a basket case 750, that he wanted to create a custom that could look like, at least cosmetically look like, it could have been built in that rough, late mid-70s, late 70s time period at Ducati. Mechanically, there's some modern updates, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but what I want to focus on is some of the interesting styling features that you've got. First of all, black and gold bodywork, again, like the 900 Super Sport. This Z stripe that you see here was famous from the Ducati 750 Sport. Obviously, you've got this full bodywork that you have here. When the bike was originally built, it had a different exhaust. It actually had curved Contis that start low and come up, which came from the original Ducati 750 Sport prototype. Now it's got these new high mounts with this distinctive stickered side cover that's been cleared over. That's a touch from the new current owner. I almost forgot my favorite thing about this bike. Right here, this, like many period race bikes of the time, has a portion of the tank that's unpainted, so you can kind of use it as a fuel gauge. So if I just sort of shake the bike a little bit, you might see the fluid go in there. So it's a visual reference for fuel. But what's really cool about this is, oddly enough, this little fly decal. That's a tribute to the Old Blue Racer. It's the first real Ducati race bike that got sent to the US. It was built for Cook Neal to compete at the 1977 Superbike race at Daytona. Cook ended up winning, which jump-started a whole passion for Ducati in America, and that's a story that's its own video. I can talk about that for half an hour. But what's cool about this is, when Ducati was originally building that tank, a fly landed somewhere. It got into the paint booth, landed on the tank. They didn't notice it before they clear coated over it, and they didn't have time to make a new tank because they were just in a rush to get this stuff out to the US. So the actual race bike had a fly on it that was clear coated over in the tank near the fuel gauge, and the builder of this bike paid homage to that with this little decal right there. You could take the decal off, but how else are you gonna tell that story? So cosmetically, again, lots of little things, period tributes here and there. Mechanically, it's been modernized a bit to make it a little bit easier to live with. You've got work shocks, you've got the front brake setup from a Ducati 996 Superbike, that kind of thing. So it's a nice combination of old and new. It's definitely not something for purists, but if you like custom touches, this is a really fantastic bike. The other thing is, it's actually here for a little bit of service work, and the seller said that I should test ride it, and I figured you probably want to hear what it sounds like. So let's give it a quick whirl. It's a little low on gas, so I'm gonna fill it up, show you the fuel level rise as I pour this in there. Kind of nifty. One thing to note, not only is this bike GP shift, it's also a right side shift. So I'm gonna spend half my brain power while I ride just thinking about how to do that, as opposed to traffic or anything important like that. Well, there you go. All right, that should be enough gas for a good test ride. Let's do it.